first speaker today, which is Mike Orr. He is going to be speaking for 5 to 7 minutes on the parliamentarian test. I didn't get a title for your speech, Mike.
Start studying and keep practicing.
Start studying and keep practicing. So help me welcome Mike Orr for our first speech.
Thank you, Tom. Fellow Toastmasters, this speech on this cold February morning is intended to be, in my mind, a wrap-up to some of my presentation for the last 4 months, complementing Tom's Success Leadership module on Parliamentary Procedure and Action. Specifically, my goal is to inspire you or to spur you on to study or keep practicing for the membership exam in the National Association of Parliamentarians. Some of us have already done this, and even if we have done this, it's a great review to keep our skills up to date, to make sure that we can train others and hopefully influence others to do the same. Now, many of you remember my whiteboard that I've had, where my goal for each and every meeting has been for you to remember a system for the ranking of the motions. And I feel this is one of the primary aspects to this membership exam, is having this piece nailed, and nailed perfectly. So what I've done for you this morning is to implement a worksheet that I think might be able to help you out in that respect. So Bill, if you'd like to hand these out, please. And as soon as you've done so, I'll explain how it should work. So at this point, each one of you should have your sheet in front of you looking like this. And as you can see, I've done a chart for you on the ranking of the motions, where the main motion is at the bottom. The subsidiary motions go up in rank above that, and then the privileged motions above. I did the letter mnemonics, which is your reminder or perhaps a system for how you might map out the ranking. At a previous session, Bill asked me for some mnemonic phrasing to help remember the words, and I don't have one for the bottom one, but other parliamentarians have developed their own. But the one that I was taught for the privileged, and that I still retain, is from the bottom to the top: Ken Robert Rent-a-Ford, C-R-R-A-F. And it seems particularly suited to Robert's Rules of Order that Robert would want to rent a car. So if you can remember that phrasing, you've already got the privileged mnemonic nailed. You just need to remember the terms that are associated with it. So here's how I believe the chart should work for you. If you fold it in half or close to in half, so you can just hide the printed portion of it and you just have the blank spaces, you can flip it over about an inch or so and you can see the letters. So in doing this, you can practice getting the letters down, which is your first step. And then from there, and you can have your own blank piece of paper or on the back of this, however you want to do it. You can make extra copies of this, whatever works for you. Get in practice of writing out the ranking motions, so that the day that you are ready to take the membership exam, you could go in and on a blank piece of paper, you could literally list out all of those motions from your memory. Whether it involved the mnemonic ranking, or simply by that point, hopefully knowing them all so you could write them all out without that mnemonic memory. I think this is one of the key success factors for the membership exam, is going in with this ability, and once you've done that, when I took the membership exam, that was the very first thing I did, and believe me, it gave me the confidence factor I needed to go through the rest of the exam. And having it written out in front of you, you had access to it for the other questions, so you could immediately refer to it without having to figure out in your mind, because it's all right there in front of you. So fellow Toastmasters, I've printed a few copies of this. For those of you who would like to take a copy home, feel free to do so. I did give you the email link on this week's agenda, which would give you access to the online questions. There is no fee for doing that. Simply you need to register with your email address and you can have online access to the questions. I believe it's unlimited access, so what you should do is go in there either on the paper version, which is in my mind simpler because you can see the categories of the questions, but whatever works for you. I think the technology is there that at the point where you're ready to review the questions, the online will give you the immediate input as to how confident you feel that you are at a certain point. Fellow Toastmasters, I hope this has been beneficial to you. I would certainly welcome any incidental comments of how the system works for you. I would be able to incorporate changes down the road and perhaps make this a better tool for you. But I think it's what you need. I think it's very helpful, and I encourage you to take it the next step in sitting for the membership exam. Mr. Toastmaster.